Hey guys, it's Brandon with craftqc.com again. We are continuing our Women in Brewing series, and I'm sitting down here today in Bettendorf at 5 Cities Brewing with Anna Stammer. Anna, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Great. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, again, what we're kind of doing is highlighting all the great women that work in the Quad Cities area at our breweries, just kind of showing that it's not just a male field that you can go into. There's women that are owners, there's women that are managers, brewers, work on social media, there's bartenders. We're just kind of covering the spectrum to show and highlight all the women that work in the industry here. So, Anna, what is your position here at 5 Cities?
It's kind of a jack of all trades these days. Brand ambassador, taproom manager, a little bit of everything.
So when you say brand ambassador, like you run the social media?
I do social media with Rachel Hart. Shout out to her. She also does it with me.
Okay.
So another woman. And as far as also doing sales calls and that stuff too. So, and then the day to day.
And then, so you're in here every day?
Yep, pretty much.
Running front of house
Yep.
operations? Do you help
All
with
that
brewing
good
at all?
stuff. I've shadowed a few times. I haven't gotten into it as much. Hopefully this winter, with things kind of slowing down a little bit, we'll be able to do some stuff on the pilot system. And
Okay. So chances are, if we come in here, we're probably going to see you at some point.
yeah, probably.
Yeah. It's like the second home, right?
Yeah, I know. We've
Awesome.
joked about cots and stuff like that.
Well, hey, if you're putting cots in here, that means you're making a lot of beer or something, and it's got to be paid, right?
Not a bad problem to
Not a
have.
bad problem at all. So how long have you been at 5 Cities?
We're going on 3 years in April. So I've been here since probably 2 weeks after we opened. So
Okay.
yeah.
So pretty much right from the
Law
start.
Hall started as a server and just never left.
Just love it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Then started doing sales and then here we are.
Yeah. So I mean, so 5 Cities has been around. Obviously, you guys didn't have an anniversary party this year, but you guys have you been a part of planning any of those anniversary parties? I know there's been some pretty awesome ones in the past.
Yeah. The first one, no, I will not take any credit for that. The original luau, which was mayhem, but such a good time. Yeah, and we were hoping to do it obviously again this last year, but here's to hoping 2021 we can do something.
Oh, I'm sure you can throw some fun ideas.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Put your name on it, make it yours.
This is mine.
For sure. Great. So you mentioned you're just kind of all over the place, but like on a daily, like when you first come in to when you leave, like what can we see you doing?
Ranging from doing scheduling and being the keeper of the front of house staff to also the keeper of the back of house staff. So the brewers, we often joke that I just kind of corral them and make sure, yeah, they need it.
Nice.
Those two boys,
You can handle it.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. I pride myself in that.
I know those boys. You can handle it.
Yeah, they're a lot. But I grew up with 4 older brothers, so I know how to.
So there was a
check.
post I saw not long ago, and I don't know if maybe you made that one, but Kurt and Matt,
Oh,
they're
yes.
called the SOBs.
Uh-huh.
Silly old brewers.
Silly old brewers.
Silly
yes.
old brewers.
Trying to keep it PC. I would have.
Get your heads out of the gutter if
Yes.
you thought it meant something else.
Silly old brewers. Yes, that was
Silly
what
old
I
brewers.
perceived.
Awesome. So out of all the stuff you do, like what would you say your favorite part about being at 5 Cities is?
Favorite part, just honestly, I just love the work environment. In general, it's really great to have a job where you're excited to go to work every day, and there's always something new. There's always a different beer, different idea, a different ridiculous name to name a beer. Like, there's a lot of collaboration and brainstorming that goes along with it, and it's a small team, but it makes it even better that way because we can all actually have a conversation and come up with ideas together.
So that's another kind of creative part that really probably gets overlooked to the normal customer coming in, is like your naming of beers, right?
Yeah.
There's some wild names out there. There's some funny, hilarious names out there.
Yeah.
There's some names that sometimes they're over my head. I'm like, what is this in reference to?
Oh yeah, we were talking about Broken Promise Pale Ale, which we re-released this year, and I was like, what was the reference there? I can't remember it. And we came up with, I think it's they can yell at me later if I'm wrong, but it was the broken promise of, oh, I'm just staying for 1 beer after work, and it turns into 3 beers. beers, which I am
Broken
notoriously.
promises.
Yeah, I break that promise a
Just
lot.
going out for one.
Yeah, no, I'm just
Sure.
gonna stay at the brewery for one, and then 3 hours later, it's a few more.
I've been to 5 cities enough that I can never come here and have one.
Yep.
So
Well, that's good.
you know,
We're doing something right.
they're too good.
We're
Just
keeping
say,
it
"Oh,
here."
yeah, one a week."
Yeah.
Awesome. So on the topic of beers, we have a couple on our hand right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm drinking a newly tapped.
Yeah.
Talking within like the last week.
Yesterday.
Yes.
That's
It's way off.
fresh to death.
It's a tiramisu
Pastry style.
pastry stout,
Yes.
and it's awesome.
Yeah.
It was
Pretty
really good.
tasty.
I'm not a big stout guy,
No,
but this one's really
you
good.
went for it.
I did.
Yeah.
Because I like trying new things. That's one of my go-tos. Like,
Yeah.
I have favorite beers here that I often take home with me.
Yeah. What's your go-to?
So Crushing on Amber, definitely probably my top.
Yeah.
And the Smash Pad is really good.
Heck
Is
yeah.
that still on?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can't take that off.
Is that gonna be original
That's
now?
Kurt's baby.
Okay, that
Yeah.
one. I love that one. And the what's the Hefeweizen?
The Weizenheimer wheat.
Is that the name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
That one's really good too.
Yeah.
Those are kind of my 3 go-tos. The Amber's #1.
Yeah.
But this one is a stout. Like I said, I normally don't go the stout route, but I like trying new stuff. So it's really
I
good.
feel like a pastry stuff.
Really good. So, is that what you're drinking as well?
Mm-hmm.
Tiramisu?
I
Awesome.
went for it, you know.
So, what is your favorite beer then here at Cal Cities?
You know, since we tapped it like 2 years ago, the Swifty Hippie has been my die-hard end of the day. But we did just tap another Swifty series, the Let's Do It the Dumbest Way Possible, which we might need to revamp that name. It's
I'm
a
assuming
little
that,
wordy.
assuming that came from an error in the process. Or something?
Basically, making a New England is kind of, it's just silly. You're just dumping a bunch of stuff in, and it's like, let's make this beer literally as dumb of a way as possible. I'm sure if you talk to anybody else in the brewing community, they will also agree
They
that
understand
New
what that
Englands
is.
are like, yeah, they're a pain in the butt, but they come
Yeah.
up with a really lovely, juicy product. So,
So, that's been a pretty popular series. Like you said, you guys are doing variants of that now.
yep.
And it's being canned. The original was canned, right?
We have cans available, but it's not out in the world.
Not out,
Yeah.
okay.
Hopefully someday.
Okay. And then the most popular beer, the pineapple.
Yes, the Bikini Bottom.
So that one, was that a kind of a accident to be so popular, or was this going to be like, hey, we need to get a mass market beer that we think people are just going to crush?
So it started off as a seasonal, like the first year we were open. They made it like, people like fruit. Let's make a fruit beer.
So-
Like here, we'll have a traditional American wheat and dump some fresh pineapple in it. You can't go wrong. And we got rid of it for a little bit, and people were not happy. And so when we
Revolting?
yes, and so when we brought it back, we were like, well, we're
Keeping it around.
yep.
So obviously you guys are distributing that now, so
Yes.
that's kind of that's just the killer.
Yeah.
And it's so popular, it's made its way into merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's stickers now that have pineapples
Yep.
on them. So it's like, it's kind of became almost the brand in itself.
Yes.
This beer.
Yeah, pineapple, everything.
Yeah.
People love pineapple, so I guess like you put a pineapple on a sweatshirt, people are gonna buy it, and I'm not gonna argue against it.
Hey, can't argue with the people.
Yeah, you
Customers say.
Exactly.
So outside of 5 cities then, what's your favorite craft beer? What might we find in your refrigerator?
Well, right now I just got some of the Richard the Whale from Big Grove, so I'm very excited to knock into that. It's gonna be a heavy hitter imperial, but this time of year calls for it, you
For
know.
sure.
But
Tis the
yeah.
season.
I love the folks over at Big Grove. Otherwise, I often Wake is a big. They have my heart. They make really nice stuff.
So you do cross the river.
I do.
sometimes.
I know how to cross the river.
You're one of the few, right?
I know it's scary. It's yeah. Kurt gives us crap.
So that's a
every day.
because Kurt's a little way.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's conversation in the Quad Cities brewer scene is that some people like refuse to cross the river, and it goes for both sides. Illinois doesn't come out.
Oh, yeah.
Iowa doesn't come to Illinois. I go to literally all of them.
You're everywhere.
So
If
I
there's
mean,
beer,
like,
I will go.
yeah, I was like, I don't discriminate against crossing
Absolutely.
a bridge. So that's great. You're
Yeah.
you're a river
Depends.
crosser.
I've made it. You know, there are 3 whole bridges to choose from. You can do it. It's not that
It's
hard.
possible.
Yeah.
So
If
Wake-
they're all within a mile.
So
of
Wake's
each
probably like the furthest, one of the furthest breweries from here too. Like if you're coming from 5 cities, like
Yeah.
that's about as west as you get. Like
Yeah.
Wake and Bent River, like a block away from each other, and that's about as far as west as you go in the Quad Cities.
You know, they're wonderful
Dedicated.
human people, and they make really good beer. So
They do. Cheers to
you
Wake.
can't argue. Got you
Shout out.
guys.
Great. So you've been in this industry for about 3 years now.
Mhm.
How would you describe craft beer to someone that say has never tried it?
You know, craft beer, I mean, by definition, it's just the amount you make is a craft beer. So, like, we're not on the large scale, we're just like a little baby brewery. But I think craft beer is just, it's being able to put a lot more love and character into a beer than just, you know, we're gonna make whatever sells. Sometimes you're gonna make a beer that doesn't sell, but hey, that's, you know, the experiment and the fun of it. So, I think craft beer is not only just the product, but also the community.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Community is a huge part of it.
Yeah.
So you don't see that obviously with the large, big
No.
breweries. It's like, hey, we're just here to make money.
Uh-huh.
Hopefully you like our product. If you don't care if it's millions of dollars
Yeah.
there.
We'll make something else and
You know, craft brewing, small breweries do not have, one, they don't have capacity to say,
yeah.
to make that amount of beer. And that's the thing. They'd rather make a little bit of great beer than a whole lot of beer that's just average.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're going to see those, just the creativity behind the different flavors that go in. Like we mentioned earlier, the variants,
Oh, yeah.
the base beer.
Mhm.
Hey, let's try it with this type of fruit, or
Yeah.
this type of herb, or whatever you guys are doing with this type of coffee. Because it all changes from batch to batch.
Yeah.
That's one of the super cool things I always appreciate about craft beer. I can have this beer now this year, you guys make it again next year, say it might come in, it's probably gonna be a little bit different.
Yeah.
And it's like, awesome, it's like trying the new thing every
Yeah,
time. It's like,
absolutely.
have you really had this before? I don't know.
You don't remember, it was a year ago. You're fine.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
And there's really nothing quite like the craft brewery, just the support within it is unlike in any other industry or business that I've ever worked in. It's like, oh, especially during the shutdown, oh, you're out of growlers? We got you. Like, it's phenomenal how everybody kind of shows up for each other and does a shout out like, hey, you should go here, because it is, especially in the Quad Cities, it's a lot of people who started in mugs together and now they're off brewing and doing the big stuff. And it's a really neat thing
career
to be a
path.
part of. Yeah.
It's not just a hobby now, it's a legit career path
Yeah.
for all the breweries in the country. So if somebody were to walk up to the bar right now, say, I've never had a craft beer before, what 5 Cities beer would you recommend they try?
I typically will steer them in the direction of Bikini Bottom because it's a fruity, easy drinking, and then we'll kind of lead them down the road, or maybe even a sour, because a lot of people who haven't tried craft beer, a sour might actually be way more appealing than.
Because that's
It's
what
a
flash
flavor.
you is like, oh my
Yeah.
god, this is a beer. Because
Yeah.
you don't get that initial impression from sour.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is a beer. This is
Oh, are
like,
you sure?
this is tart.
Yeah. Are you sure this isn't like a cider or something? No,
Yeah,
it's a
exactly.
beer. So yeah, I usually, that's kind of where we start, and then we'll, based off of, well, what do you typically drink? What do you like? And then even like the Swifty Hippie, you can get a lot of people who aren't craft beer drinkers into that, just because kind of it has that juicy, fruity loveliness to it that.
Loveliness.
Loveliness.
That's what it's all about.
Yes, exactly.
It's love
so,
in a glass.
it is.
Liquid
That's
love.
how I feel about it. I think Rick and Morty would be very, very happy to hear that. Or not at all.
So all the questions we've kind of talked about so far, just kind of getting to know you a little bit. You know, how long you've been here, what you do here, what you enjoy here, what kind of beers you like, cheers to beers. So the whole topic, obviously, women in brewing.
Yeah.
There's a great craft beer scene here in the Quad Cities, and there's also some great women that work at those breweries.
Yeah.
You're one of them, obviously. So where do you think women in brewing is heading, not just in the Quad Cities, but in the industry in general? How do you feel that women will have an impact going forward?
I think it's only going to go up from here. I know it's an incredibly male-dominated field. It has been, and even as a woman currently in the field, people are like, "Oh, you're the manager. You're in. Oh, okay." Like it's just shock still to this day because there is such a it's men-run breweries. Beer is very just male-dominated, and that's not the case because I mean. Women know what women like, and if you want women in the craft beer scene, you're gonna have to also pander to that audience. So, it's growing, and I'm excited about what's gonna happen more and more. I think it takes that female eye sometimes that just traditional big brew houses have kind of missed out on.
Yeah.
And even, I mean, as far as like even merchandise and stuff like that, which not to be like, that's only ladies can do that, because that's not the case, but, you know, putting it out there, making a name for craft beer and for ourselves, and we can lug 55-pound bags of malt, we can do it, I can change a keg, I can do it all, like, it's the whole anything you can do, I can do just as well, if not better,
sure.
you know, so.
I think we're learning that as well, because you are seeing more women coming into the industry.
Yeah.
Still minority, yes, but you're seeing more of them. You're also seeing a lot more women craft beer drinkers. So, even not necessarily that's working in the industry now, but more women are appealing to craft beers.
Yeah.
Because I think craft beer was always kind of stereotypically before, it's like, oh, it's a higher calorie beer.
Yeah.
Women
It's hoppy.
tend to go towards the lower calorie drinks.
Yeah.
Or it's just the flavor profiles
Yeah.
in there. They're kind of too strong, you know, for the taste of. And now you're seeing it. I go to all the breweries in the area, and like I see women at them all the time drinking the beer.
Oh yeah.
And there's always a woman working there in some capacity.
Yeah.
And if you walk in, and you can walk up to the bar and ask a female the same, you know, question you could ask a male, you know, server, manager, whoever, like, hey, what do you recommend? Here's kind of my styles. And those females are going to be able to give you, the same, if not better answer than what the males are.
Yeah.
Because like they're not just there for a job. Like, you know all the styles of the beers, you know what's on the board.
Yeah.
And if I say, hey, I really like this style of beer,
Yeah.
you're going to be able to say, well, I would choose this or this if I were you.
Yeah.
Just to get you going. So.
Yeah. It's all about educating, and you don't have to be a dude or a lady. You just gotta be a person, and you gotta like beer, and you know, breaking that glass ceiling of to hell with it. Anybody can do it.
To hell with it.
To hell with
Just
it.
do it.
We're all we all like beer. Why does it? You don't have to be a girl or a boy. It doesn't matter. We're all here to enjoy the same thing. So.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
So, Anna.
It's okay.
I said it wrong again.
It's okay.
I appreciate your time.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll be sharing this on our website and
Great.
putting it out there on socials.
Good.
So keep following the Women in Brewing series. We're going to be highlighting all the awesome women here working in the Quad Cities craft beer scene.
Sweet. Thanks, Brandon.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We're actually cheers.
I know.
Social distance cheers.
Is this good enough?